join us, I would like to launch a video to introduce his next speeches and welcome all you. So thanks for being here with us.
Prova.
We are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, and global warming and various other aspects, but we are not addressing soil. Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways. Every responsible scientist in the world and the UN agencies are clearly saying we have only 80 to 100 harvests left. That means approximately 45 to 50 years of agricultural soil left on the planet. By 2045, we will be producing 40% less food than what we are producing right now, and our populations will be 9.3 billion people. The food shortages that could manifest in the next 25 years, the consequences of that is unimaginable. Civil wars will unfold across the world once there is food shortage. What we are facing now is soil extinction. Why is soil becoming extinct? Where is it going away? What is happening to our soil? We must understand, if you add organic content to sand, sand will turn into soil. If you remove all organic content from the soil, soil will become sand. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content should be between 3 to 6%. The most minimum is 3%. At least this minimum to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil as living soil is a must. Agricultural soils across the world, the depletion is so heavy. In most countries, more than 50% of the topsoil is already gone in the last 100 years. The nutrient levels have dropped significantly. The level of micronutrients you would get from your food in early 20th century to what you are getting from the same food now has dropped 90%. If you ate one orange in 1920s, what you got from it, now in 2020, if you have to get the same, you will have to eat 8 oranges. This is what we have done to our food.
Soil is the biggest ecosystem on the planet, and so few people know anything about it. 1 teaspoon of healthy soil probably contains more microbes than there are people on Earth.
The microbial life in the first 12 to 15 inches of topsoil is the basis of our existence. It is this magic beneath our feet which has produced the life that we are. This first 12 to 15 inches of soil is the basis of life for 87% of life on this planet, including you and me.
We have to begin to recognize that what we call our soil, Mother Earth, is a living organism.
Open soils, ripped open by ploughing, open to sunlight, is the basis of destruction of microbial life. So the focus should be on agriculture, the focus should be on seeing that land is under shade as much as possible, some kind of shade, grasses, herbs, bushes, trees. Conscious Planet is launching Save Soil movement to bring about a policy change to regenerate soil. As a part of this, I'm 65, and I'm riding 30,000 kilometers, a lone motorcycle journey, 30,000 kilometers across 24 nations to activate support from the citizenry to assure the governments long-term investments will be appreciated. So it's extremely important that soil regeneration is enshrined in the policy of every government on the planet. We must change the narrative on the planet that soil is a wealth, a legacy we have received from previous generations, and we have to pass it on as living soil for future generations. We are in a cusp of time. If you do the right things now, in the next 15 to 25 years, we can significantly turn this situation around and regenerate the soil. But if we allow this to progress like this for another 30 to 40 years, after 40 years if we attempt this, then it could take 150 to 200 years because that much loss of biodiversity would have happened. From 21st of March for 100 days, the whole world, every human being on the planet should talk soil. We must hear the word soil, save soil everywhere to see that the narrative on the planet changes towards the most vital aspect of our life, the soil. Each one of you should reach as many people as you can to make this happen. Many global leaders and influencers are already participating in the movement. Be a part of this and let us make it happen.
For my part, as much as I can contribute.
And the movement that you are taken up, I could not expect any more God's blessing than that.
We're going to save the soil. Do your part.
And saving the soils.
Our future, our children's future, and our planet's future depend on it.
Sadhguru, save soil, my friend.
We need to save our soils.
Antigua and Barbuda is part of the Save Soil mission.
Save the soil.
We know what we must do, so let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make this happen.
Let us make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
I thought I was speaking to the university students.
You need the microphone.
My beard is sonic.
But first of all, thank you for
coming.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming here in Venice, in Italy. I will briefly introduce myself, that I'm not important. I'm Professor Carlo Bagnoli from here, Professor of Strategy Innovation. It's an honor to have you here. I'm a little bit emotional.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and we have other two guests. I will introduce them later that will help me in developing this dialogue with you, because I need an help. Hélène Molinari, founder of Sumus Foundation, and Federico Blumer, that is the founder of Viaggi di Scoperta. Okay. So, I prepared the first question to break the ice, as we say. That actually you are in a journey as a part of a Save Soil campaign, which is calling on policymakers and also citizens to make soil regeneration a priority. A journey through Europe and Middle East in an effort to save soil, meeting celebrities and environmentalists and influencers in dozen countries along the way. But nowadays, we have the feeling that global is a little bit collapsing under the pressure of pandemics. Country close the borders, but also of the war. It's a big problem, actually. And that the world is becoming more and more polarized. So my first question is how we can cope with the soil as a global topic when the world is getting more and more fragmented. There is a solution to face this incredible problem, huge problem, and how to face this other challenges.
Thank you. Well, the pandemic brought one thing home. It doesn't matter what is… Please, who is doing the sound? Please, a little bit. The pandemic brought one thing home, that it doesn't… Ooh! Hey, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can tell me, you don't have to do that, Hello? Little. See, the pandemic brought one thing home to us. No matter what is your race, religion, nationality, gender, the virus is universal. When it gets you, all right? So over 6 million people unfortunately paid the price. Others have paid the price in terms of losing dear ones or suffering losses, businesses, livelihoods, many things. But pandemic brought that we are one humanity. What hits you hits me also. What hits me hits her also, him also, and everybody. So, in a way, pandemic brought that feeling that it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, life gets you in a certain way, because we are all made the same way somewhere essentially. So, the differences are in our minds. The boundaries of nationalities, race, religion, all in human mind. In life, there's no such thing. Virus did not discriminate between black and white and brown and whatever else, it hit everybody, all right? So similarly, we have found so many ways to create distinctions and divisions among humanity, but soil is that one aspect. All of us come from soil, live off soil. When we die, we go back to soil. So, the choice is just this: either we can realize this now, that we are all made of the same soil, and be that generation which turn back from the brink of a disaster, or slip through this and fall over and grieve over the disaster. There are some people who will always grieve after the disaster happens. But if we act in time, we can prevent the disaster. Preventing a disaster is not… there's no fireworks to it, there are no awards to it, there is no fanfare to it. See, if somebody prevents war, nobody hears it, right? If somebody makes war, then everybody hears it, and afterwards you can go and give a helping hand to all the suffering people. But you could have avoided it, but if you avoid it, nobody will hear of it. This is the unfortunate reality of this. So right now as a generation, we have a challenge and a privilege that we as a generation are in a cusp of time where if we act now, we could be that generation which turn back from the brink of disaster. But if we don't do anything right now and allow it to roll like this for another 30–35 years, we will come to a place where even if we want to do it, we cannot regenerate the soil because the loss of biodiversity that's happening is at that pace. When I say that pace, UNFAO says that on an average, every year, 27,000 species of life is being lost on this planet. 27,000 species, not organisms or something. 27,000 species are being lost. At this rate of loss, if we continue, in about 30 to 35 years, We cannot regenerate the soil, it will take 150 to 200 years if you wish to do it. But right now, if we act with the right kind of policies across the world, if we act now, it is possible to turn this around in 10 to 15 years, maximum 20 years' time. So this is why the urgency, this is the significance of the times in which we are. Either we avoided the disaster or we will grieve over the disaster. And this disaster is not going to be pleasant. It is not like people think, oh, world is going to end. World is not going to end. That's a problem, I'm telling you. The world is not going to end. The food will be much less than what it is. Then all your civilization, which is 1,000 years old, will mean nothing. Once there is food shortage, life in your city won't be the same, life in your country or in the world won't be the same. Even basic humanity will evaporate if there is no food for 3 days in this city. This is true with every city, I'm saying. So this is what we are heading towards. Every responsible scientist in the world is pointing in this direction, but somehow we've been avoiding it. What I have seen is in the last 2 years, talking to variety of people, many global heads, corporations, bureaucrats, scientists, talking to a whole lot of people who are in responsible positions, I saw that everybody knows there is a problem, everybody knows how serious it is, everybody generally knows what is the direction of the solution. They may not know the details, but they know what is the direction of the solution. Then I realized everybody knows the problem, everybody knows the solution, they are all waiting for some idiot to come and bell the cat. So here I am.
Hélène, you have been a top manager in France, you have been involved in finance, but at a certain point of your life you decided to change. You decided to help the world to become a better place to live, especially for children, for our children. And you founded a foundation, Sumus, that is very focused on consciousness, so I think very aligned with the spirit of Sadhguru. And you decided to start a pilot from here, from Venice, to, as I told you again, to make the world a better place to live. Okay, in your perspective, in your experience, what do you think about the possibility to save soil and the campaign that Sadhguru is developing?
First of all, I would like to thank you, Carlo, for the invitation to share the floor with Mr. Sadhguru and with Federico. And I would like also to say that it's a big chance for me to speak with you, Mr. Sadhguru, and it's more than a chance. I think it is a synchronicity, so I would like to thank also God or universe or the source, I don't know how you call him. Why I say that? It's because I've launched an initiative, Sumus, 1 year ago, and we have the same diagnostic, and I decided to be actor of the future. I decided to be an active citizen because I totally agree with you. We are facing possibly the end of humanity. A lot of scientific people say that before the end of this century, 2/3 of the human population could disappear because of food storage or because a lot of other diseases that can happen. And I think it's not possible to let the new generation alone facing this very dark situation. So this is why we launched Sumus, to ask the people who are volunteers who want to act now for the regeneration. We want to regenerate the soil, the air, the water. We want to reinvent the way we cultivate the soil without chemicals, with permaculture, for example, or biodynamism and other techniques that exist today. meaning that the more we cultivate, the better the soil is, and the more nutriments we have. Because in fact, in our countries, we eat too much, but we don't we don't get the nutriments we need to be fully alive, to be fully in a good health. So yes, I fully support your initiatives. And my question is, for me, we are at a turning point in humanity, probably designing a new civilization. This is what I think.
Humanity? If you can repeat that.
Yes. So the civilization today could be summarized as I have, meaning we define ourselves with our possessions. And sumus means we are, siamo in Italiano, because we think the shift has to be from the verb to have to the verb to be. We have to know who we are. We have to open our consciousness. But I am not sure everybody knows what means to be, what means to open the consciousness. Could you explain us what it means for you to be and to open the consciousness?
Wow.
That's easy question.
So, see, no other creature on this planet. Oh, why only for me they're doing this? No other creature on this planet is referred to as a being. We don't call a tiger being, an ant being, an elephant being. Only you and me are human beings. Why is this so? Because we are supposed to know how to be. Why we are supposed to know how to be or how we are supposed to know how to be means, see, for every other creature, nature determines the characteristics of who they are, at least 90%. Only 10% latitude of individual nature for them. Between one tiger and the next tiger, only 10% variation. 90% this tiger is same. But in the case of a human being, when you were born, hardly even… these percentages are not perfect, I'm just throwing the numbers. Hardly 10% was determined. Remaining 90% is what you have made of yourself, isn't it? So a human being comes largely unformed. This is a tremendous privilege and a freedom that nature has trusted your intelligence and let you be whichever way you want to be. It's not predetermined. For every other creature, there are two lines within which they should live and die. For the human being, there is only bottom line which a lot of people are trying to breach, but there is no top line. Because of this, you can be whichever way you want to be. This moment how you are is entirely your choice, because human experience is entirely caused from within. Whether it's pain or pleasure, joy or misery, agony or ecstasy, happens only within you, isn't it? So what happens within you, why is it not happening the way you want it? Well, what should have been this level of intelligence and awareness should function consciously, but right now it is functioning compulsively. When you function compulsively, at this level of competence, you become hugely destructive. If you were an earthworm or if you had the brain of an earthworm, you could be incessantly, 24 hours you could be active, no problem, and you would also be eco-friendly, you know. But now that you're a human being, there is this level of competence and capability. Now if you're compulsive, world will get destroyed. Because whatever destruction we have done to this planet is not because of some evil design, no. Just in pursuit of happiness and well-being, isn't it? Human happiness and well-being, compulsively pursuing it. Why are we pursuing well-being and happiness in the world? Because we are like that potato farmer. You heard of this potato farmer? No. There was a potato farmer. One day he wanted to eat apples, so he went to the apple tree. But out of sheer habit, he started digging to find apples. When he did not find any apples, he became furious and went crazy. Then the tree came down on him. This is our case. What is within, you're trying to get it outside. Well, you will pay the price. Nothing wrong with you. Just digging the wrong place. Instead of turning inward and digging this one, you're digging something else. That is all the problem is. So why is it that we are not able to be? You know, the anthropologists talk about that between the man and the monkey there must be a missing link. Why they're saying this is…
The man, only the man.
You're getting into trouble, Professor. This is the first time I realized I can understand Italian language. So, because the jump is too big, but actually the jump is not big, because the DNA difference between you and a chimpanzee is only 1.23%. 1.23% is not much of a difference, isn't it? Physiologically, that's how close we are to the chimpanzee. But in terms of our intelligence and awareness, we are worlds apart from a chimpanzee. Now this is our problem. We have an intelligence for which we have not created a stable enough platform. On this unstable platform of the way your energy systems are, the way your chemistry is, the way you kept your body, on this unstable platform, if you have this level of intelligence, it causes enormous stress and trouble. Right now, human beings are going through various kinds of suffering. Just now the professor narrated that it is because of the pandemic, it's because of the war. No, even before the pandemic, people were crippling. At least now they got a virus to blame it on. Hello? I'm not trying to belittle the pandemic. Pandemic has been a severe blow for us in terms of life. But you think people were not suffering before that? They were. You think people were not fighting wars before this? You live in Europe, you know. Last 100 years, how many wars you fought? Hello? Not one or two. Continuously, as if two nations are not enough, we fought world wars, isn't it? So what is the thing? The problem is just this, what is within you're trying to find outside. So you can't be, there is no way you can be. You're trying to dig apples from the ground, it'll never work. If you looked up, it would be there. Similarly, if you turn inside, it would be there how to be. If you had a choice how to be, would you choose to be miserable or blissful? You must choose, I'm going to bless you. Blissful or miserable? Blissful. See, the choice is very clear. For yourself, you want the highest level of pleasantness. What you want for your neighbor sometimes is debatable, all right? But what you want for yourself is highest level of pleasantness. What is pleasantness? See, if your body becomes pleasant, we call this health. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. If your mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. If your emotions become pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If your very life energies became pleasant, we call this blissfulness. If it became very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. But if our surroundings become pleasant, we call this success. Only to make our surroundings pleasant, we need the cooperation of everybody. See, he needs to cooperate, otherwise just at the right moment or wrong moment he may scream. But it's okay, it's as long as the sounds are sounds of happiness, let them make it, what's the problem? Huh? Miserable sounds, not welcome, happy sounds. So, this way of being is just this, to create external situations the way we want, it needs the cooperation of everybody and every force. that is around. But to create pleasantness in body, pleasantness in mind, pleasantness in emotion and energy, it's 100% your business, isn't it?
Yes.
So the problem is, we gave you, nature gave you, I was just taking its side, nature gave you the most sophisticated gadget in the universe that we know of, that is human mechanism. Yes or no? The most complex and sophisticated mechanism, this one. Have you read the user's manual? User's manual. What do you call it in Italian? User's manual. How to use this? No, just like that. Something works, something works. You do one thing, you take your touch screen smartphone. See, when do you call somebody smart? Only when they're smarter than you. Yes or no? Hello? Yes or no? You call somebody smart because they're smarter than you. Now you're calling the silly phone smart because it seems to be smarter than you. But it is this one which made the phone, isn't it? Tell me which is smarter, this one or the phone? This must be smarter, but now that is looking smarter because this is largely unused potential, because this is trying to live without reading the user's manual, not paying attention to how it works. Just by accident, you have a very sensitive touch phone, but you have a fist, chat, you do. Oh, it'll call somebody, all right? Only if you do like this or like this, like this, like this, it'll call who you want. If you do this, something will happen. Right now, this is how human beings are handling such a subtle mechanism, which you don't even have to touch. If you just imagine, things can happen to you, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
You can think of something pleasant and become blissful. You can think of something terrible and become unpleasant, yes or no?
Yes.
You don't know touch screen also, just a thought, it'll happen. When you have such a sensitive machine, is it not important that you carefully read the user's manual? Hello? Only thing is, it didn't come hanging around your neck from your mother's womb when you came, it was not hanging around your neck. It is built in. You have to pay attention. So if you pay attention, you will know how to be 100%.
Thank you. It's interesting because as a professor, sometimes I can say I follow some congress of artificial intelligence, and one point always is how to maintain the human in the loop. It's funny because we are human and we think how to maintain the human in the loop. That is like a paradox. I mean,
How to maintain? I didn't get that, I'm sorry. How to maintain?
The human in the loop. So how not to make artificial
how
intelligence
not to get human beings eliminated from the system.
Yeah. It's funny because it's a paradox in some sense. Anyway,
See, I must tell you, I have been invited to speak in various artificial intelligence conferences. I asked them, I was speaking at… This is a country you're not supposed to speak about now, but it's a beautiful country in its own way. I was speaking at St. Petersburg in a conference, and I said, why are you guys inviting me to artificial intelligence? Because I'm not a technology person, I have a natural intelligence, not artificial for sure. They said, no, Sadhguru, the problem is, we are all worried that we will have nothing to do in this world, but it looks like you don't care a damn about it. So, we wanted to know how to deal with this artificial intelligence. If it gets smarter and smarter, it will eliminate us. I said, see, this is a world I've been dreaming of, where all of you will be eliminated and I will be eliminated because, see, when you go to work, you complain that you have to work. If you are going to be removed from work, you will complain again. What is the point? Your problem is, right now, you're trying to make yourself something by doing something. This is the question she asked, how to be? If you knew how to be, what you do is just what is needed in the world. It's not that you have to do something to become something. Right now it's like this, you want that. Because of that you do this. Because of this you become this. This is a wrong way to go. First to establish your way of being. If you establish your way of being, what is needed you will do. Because you do what you do, you will get what you have to get. But we are trying to put the cart before the horse all the time. First we want that, because of that we'll do this, because doing that we'll become something. No, first being, then doing, then having. You're trying to conduct your life, first having, then doing, then being. This will not work, it doesn't matter what you become. I was in United States and this young man comes and says, he was going around like his tail is on fire. I said, hey, what do you want to do with your life? He says, nothing, Sadhguru, I just want $1 billion. I said, no problem, I'll give you $1 billion. He had another 8 friends with him. I said, I'll give you $1 billion. He said, really? Yes, I'll give you. But I'm going to give these 8 guys, your friends, $10 billion each. Sadhguru? Why only $1 billion for me? Arey, you just said you want $1 billion. Now the moment your friends get 10 billion, you become miserable. What is your problem? Your problem is not money. Your problem is your possessions make you who you are. Who you are is not determined by who you are, but because of what nonsense you have gathered. So the nonsense that you have gathered, whether it's body, this also you gathered, whether it's knowledge, impressions of mind, or things or money or wealth or people, whatever you have gathered, if you are something or if the significance of your life is only because of your gatherings, you will live a terrible life always. Even if I make you the king or queen of this planet, you will still be a miserable mess.
Sure.
But if you establish your way of being, then what will you do? If you're joyful by your own nature, what will you do? You will do what is needed. What's most needed in the world, you will pick that up and do it. Right now, saving soil is most needed. We're picking up and doing this. Now, Sadhguru, you are an environmentalist. I say, I'm not, it's a disgrace that somebody is an environmentalist or an ecologist. We are the ecology, aren't we? Hello? When did we rise above that? When will you realize this, now or when you're buried? When will you understand you are also part of the ecology? Better understand it now, isn't it?
Thank you. Federico, it's your time. You are the founder and the creator of Viaggio di Scoperta, that is an Italian web channel multi-platform focused on Venice as human experience, as known as postcard. So you try to change a little bit
the perception.
Yes, yeah, of this incredible and for me
incredible and I lost. Okay, yeah. I feel a strong connection with your journey, and I'm very grateful to be here and to have the possibility to giving you my questions, because I have problems to solve. And
1 billion.
Yeah, 1 minute. You have 2 questions, but I remember. So, you said that the body is a human machine, and we don't have the manual of how to use it. Venice is the manual. We don't have it.
No, you have, but you did not read.
Yeah. You don't own it. Yes, totally. Sorry. And what I think about Venice is the fact that this city is the manual of how build a community. How build communities. Because all the island you'll see are, in origin, they were communities. Different, they hate themselves, they hate each other. And then when they connected the island with the bridges, they already have built a relation. They fight, no? And they make peace, and after, they built a state on this, and on this knowledge of dialogue, practical merchants dialogue, and they did the longest state of the West. They did things amazing, and now today, the city is seen only as a postcard, a very human, materialistic experience, while what Venice can give to the world and to the citizens itself is a knowledge of how to do relations. We don't have cars, so that the interaction is body on the street. And but what I see, I'm trying to make this conscious about. I tell story of Venice, and I try to always put this idea inside the story of Venice I tell. But I see that first, the citizen themselves, they see that the apple is up on the tree. They know they don't have to dig to reach the apple, but they choose not to do it. And being a communicator, someone that wants to use his voice to change the status quo and save Venice, because has the same problem of the soil. We lose the 5 centimeter that is the citizenship. It becomes a Disney park, and it's becoming true. This year we will be less than 50,000 citizens. There is no city anymore. So what I'm asking to you is, where do I start to make people act? Because they are always agree. They always agree with what I say, with the idea. The idea is right. But the step into action, after COVID too, a lot of people used to talk a lot. Yes, it's the time of change. Now the city does no tourist. We see that the city is nearly dead. It's the time to change. But then they were all afraid. I put all my body in it, and I break my face on this. But which advice can you give me to make a change that became, let my voice become action in the others? I don't know how to say, but I think you understand.
You are in love with this city, that's a problem. You're really in love with this city. Well, one thing we need to understand is, we have, as a generation of people across the world, not just here, everywhere, as a generation, we have experienced comforts and convenience like no other generation ever. No past generation ever knew these kind of comforts and conveniences. Any inconvenience, however beautiful it is, however romantic it is in your heart, this new generation sinks it. They would want a road where they can drive a Ferrari, not a gondola, okay? It may be as beautiful as it is for somebody who comes new, but one who lives here, no. So, this has happened due to various reasons, and because of that, you cannot say which happened first, but both are happening at the same time. Our physical bodies are no more as strong as it was. So, more and more we seek convenience and comfort because we are not that strong anymore. The same men and women who lived here, let's say 500 years ago, how strong they were, how strong men and women are here today is not comparable, not at all comparable. There are many aspects to it. One aspect, because we are on the soil mission right now, is also the soil, because there are not enough nutrients in the soil. It's gone down significantly. Because of that also, another thing is the machines have come. Instead of doing this, brrrr, you can go, okay? So there is no use of the body. This is one machine, this is made like this, it gets better with use. If you try to preserve it, oh, it'll go to the morgue very soon. You can't save it, you can only use it. The more you use it, the better it gets. Everybody is watching me and say, at 65, he's riding 30,000, he's going to die. I'll disappoint them. Because the more you use it, the better it gets. This is the nature of the body. But people have gone into comfort levels. The only things that the new generation generally… I'm not making a I'm not against new generation. The only thing they're generally using most is their thumbs. Even the boatman is doing this, all right? So, this is a new era. It's not for me to give commentary on that. But the only thing I'm scared of about this new generation is they're calling themselves Generation Z. That's dangerous. That looks like the last generation. Z? No, not good. Not a good alphabet to choose. Don't call yourself Generation Z, that looks dangerous to me. So, your love for the city is fantastic, but you have to come to terms with the changing realities of times, because always, many things that we thought was very beautiful when we were growing up, not anymore in India, I'm saying. So many things. I can't even make a list of it. Too many things are gone. The new generation doesn't even know such things existed. So, this is an inevitable moment of time, nobody can help it. But we can preserve it. Venice slowly is becoming archival, you know. It's like an archive. As an archive, you can preserve it. This is how people lived in the past. And there will always be romantics like you who will come and live here and something will be on and it has tourist attraction. Well, these 2 years the city might have suffered because of the pandemic, but that will go. Things will go on. But the important thing is to preserve the city. There'll always be fools whose heart beats faster than others, they will all come.
Elaine, around 1920, so more or less 100 years ago, philosophers, scientists, and other intellectual people discussed about cosmo problems, you know, where we are, the Einstein, Carl Gustav Jung. It was an incredible period to face big problems related to cosmos. Actually, 100 years later, we are more focused, not here, fortunately, but in general, to discuss about cosmetic problem. Okay, so we move from cosmo to cosmetic. That is not so good, how we can say, advance in human progress. Okay, in your foundation, you are trying, in some sense, to face cosmo problem, in some sense, because you are, I can say, opening in a few days an exhibition. The title is From Chaos to Harmony. Okay, can you introduce a little bit and to link this initiative with Save the Soil? Probably they seem to be a little bit far, but they are not.
Yes, we consider that art is a universal language and that we can touch more easily the people with art. And we have decided to open a new space next to San Lorenzo. The name of this new space, which will be the Casa of Sumus, is the Fucina del Futuro, the Forge of the Future. And this space is an old foundry, not used more than 20 years, so it is in chaos today. This is why the exhibition will be From Chaos to Harmony, and after the exhibition we will start the renovation to welcome the thinkers and the doers, because Sumus is at the same time a think tank and a do tank. And this exhibition, From Chaos to Harmony, is in fact an internal journey. We think that if we want to co-create a better world, sustainable, inclusive, and joyful, and healthy, we need first to work on ourselves, as you said. We need to do this internal journey. We need to find who we are. So I will propose to everyone in this audience to come. We will open on the 9th until the 9th April to start this journey and to join the Sumus community if you want to be volunteers to build this laboratory of the future that the Venetians deserve and that humanity deserves, because we need to have a prototype, and thanks to this notoriety of Venice, we can influence the rest of the world. This is what we think. So to come to the question is, my question is, we are living in a young world designed by men and for men. Even if in some countries like ours...
Most designers spend a lot of time designing things for women.
Yes, but still, we speak about competition, we speak about profitability, and we speak about results. When we speak about the Mother Earth, it's Gaia, it's Pachamama, and it's a woman. Do you think that if we can reach harmony between man and woman, we will save soil because it's the feminine part of ourselves?
Well, this is a very important aspect of life. See why the masculine became more prominent than the feminine. In Middle Ages and onwards is because the urge to do many things, and most of the things that we could do were physical. And in the last 1,000 years, we built military machines. When there is peace in a given society, a woman has equal role to play. Maybe slightly different, but it's equally important, I'm saying. But when wars come, women will have to recede. Well, today women may be in the armed forces, but still, when strife and war comes, masculine will naturally dominate. So this is probably one reason we always keep the world in strife. Otherwise, your woman will get on top of you. I'm saying, if you look at the number of wars we are fighting, amount of strife we are creating, it looks like that. So, because of these things, women slowly sank behind. See, this happened in India. I'm talking about a few thousand years ago. In India, anything less than 2,000 years means we think it's too recent. So, there was a time, there is enough history to show that men and women participated equally in everything in the society. But then invasions came. When the invasions came, the first thing the invaders go for is your wife and your daughter. Terrible things happened to them. So, they started hiding their women and their girls and their wives in the granages. The simple trick was, there's a granary, like let's say there's wheat or rice or something, the women will bury themselves still here and put a basket over their head like a bushel which is just thrown carelessly, but actually she can breathe beneath that. So this was the way they stayed there. And when the raiders come, they stay for a long period of time, so women just stayed there. Gradually, people began to understand the safest and the best place for a woman is to be underground. But till then, she had equal rights. If you look at Indian literature of the past, clearly it says they were in the king's court, they were in the spiritual process, they were everywhere. Why this happened was because that society invested so much in the spiritual development of the human being. See, if it comes… see, being a man or a woman is only a small physiological change, all right? It's just a physical this thing. The reproductive organs are different between a man and a woman. Otherwise, if you penetrate beyond this body, if you go beyond this body, there is no male and female in this. So, those societies which invested heavily on the spiritual process, There the distinction between who is a man, who is a woman was not so much. This, whether you are a male or a female, is only… it has consequence only in certain relationships and certain activities. Rest of the time, it shouldn't even be something to be noticed that somebody is a man or a woman. Why should it matter whether somebody is a man or a woman? Only in certain relationships it matters, rest of the time it doesn't. The society was largely like that. When invasions came, naturally women were pushed back because what happened was so terrible. But I feel these societies have been facing such situations constantly, consistently, not only constantly, it's consistently these situations have been happening. So pushing the women back just for safety all the time happen, after that, that becomes the culture, unfortunately. So now we've come to a place where man's muscle is of no great consequence. See, there was a time if you had really big muscles, probably you could be the king of Venice at one time because of sheer muscle. Today, if you have a lot of muscle, we may make you the security guard to this place. No value. See, the professor, he needs to have his brains in place, so he becomes a professor. If he's got big muscle, we'll put him as security guard. So I'm saying the whole equation has changed because man's muscle is not of much significance because the machine has come, all right? Because everything is being done by the machines, this big muscle is no more of that kind of consequence as it was. Because of that, there is a level playing field. This is not because of some great evolution or nor is it because of the liberation struggles that happened, no. It's mainly because of technology. Because of technology, man and woman can travel where they want. When there was no technology, if we have to go on a horseback from Italy to India, naturally you left your woman behind and went. This was a natural process because of various troubles on the way. Today we fly, whether you're a man or a woman, what does it matter, you can fly. So this leveling of the playing field has happened because of technological development and evolution. I think we should make use of it and bring back the feminine. See, there's one aspect of being a male or female which is a certain manifestation of the body. But there are more fundamental aspects of masculine and feminine. As you said, I was just joking about that aspect. As you said, unfortunately, the entire world is leaning too heavily on the masculine. When you lean too heavily on the masculine, what happens is, lot of things will happen. Lot of things will happen, you'll build buildings, you will do this, you'll do that, then you don't know why the hell you're here. Yes, so this feminine is needed. I'm not talking about male and female, I'm talking about masculine and feminine. You must have heard of a word called Hatha. Have you heard of the word Hatha? Hatha yoga? Hatha yoga means, Ha means sun, Tha means moon. That aspect of yoga which considers these two aspects, sun and moon, as masculine and feminine, and the entire system of yoga is to bring balance between the masculine and feminine within you. If you do not have this balance, you will never be a full-fledged human being. See, right now you're sitting here as a woman. You're either a man or a woman right now, that's the fact. But the truth of your existence is, you came here only because a man and woman came together, all right? So now that you are a woman, does it mean to say your father has made no contribution for you? Or you are sitting here as a man, does it mean to say your mother has made no contribution for you? Both of them exist within us, isn't it? The question is, have you allowed both to grow and blossom? This is very important. We have to move in that direction. It is not that men will have to act like women and women will have to act like men, that is not needed. Masculine, feminine is very different from what you call as male and female. Male and female is a manifestation. Masculine and feminine are fundamental qualities. Without these polarities, physical world cannot manifest. Physical world manifests between these two polarities. Bringing feminine into the society is very important. Without aesthetic, without love, without tenderness in the society, we'll become brutally efficient societies which are of no consequence to anybody.
Federico, your project is very focused on Venice, to make Venice a real city, as in the past, and combining, in some sense, tradition and innovation.
He's an Italian romantic, huh?
Yeah, romantic, yeah. But all Italians are
We need to
romantic.
preserve him, not too many left. We have to preserve this guy.
But the point is, probably, how I can say, to make something happen in Venice could be a demonstration that you can make something happen in at least all Italy, because Venice is probably one of the, how I can say, difficult cities in Italy. So
yeah, in a sort of way, just continuing my part of in love of Venice. Yes, Venice is a kind of is the head of the Italian country that relates everything on his past, his dead glory, no? And now we have this confrontation between this strange use that we do it, that is like selling tickets, not using as a manual, no? But the main problem that I see also in Venice is always the same, but you already answered it, so I will. Is the opposition between the parts. No? When she say rightfully man and woman, we can say that for producing a change, we need to make a peace between institutions and citizens, no? Voters and politicians. And so my original idea was to ask you how to do it. But then, you said something that I really understood, that is not looking for the division to unify the division, because if you look the division, you will always see divided. So if you look from above and you see that there is always a soil we walk on, probably that's the way, forgetting that there's a division and feeling us like a whole human being, or not being, but. So the question is, if you want to say it, when was your first time in which you realized you were doing it? You were doing a change that was not only in yourself, but also something that happened outside. Now, when you start to build a different world somehow, no?
You're asking for a long story.
The first moment, the first realization, the moment in which you said, I did it.
So,
it's the difference between knowing the path and being the path, right? Sorry.
So, when I was 4.5, 5 years of age, suddenly I realized I don't know anything. I don't know anything means I don't know anything at all. If you give me this glass of water, there's no water. If you give me this glass full of water, I would be staring at this water for hours because I did not know what is water. I know how to use it, I know how to drink it, I know how to use it. Many ways you can use the water, I know that. But I don't know what it is. But actually even today you don't know what it is, though you live in Venice.
Yeah.
You still don't know what it is because with all the scientific exploration that we have done, we still do not know one atom in its entirety. We know how to use them, we know how to fuse them, we know how to break them, we know how to make a bomb out of them, but we don't know what it is. This is true with every aspect of life. So if I find a leaf, I'm just staring at this for hours. If I sit up in my bed, I'm just staring at the darkness for the whole night. My dear father, being a physician, started thinking, I need psychiatric evaluation. You also think so? So his problem is, this boy is simply staring at something all the time, looks like he's lost it. What is he staring like this for? My problem is, I am looking at this, I still don't know what this is. I am not able to look at that because I still don't know what this is. I want to know what this is. So, in this condition, they sent me to school. My mother said, you must pay attention to the teacher. And I went and paid attention to the teacher, the kind of attention they had never received in their life. Absolute attention, just watching them. Then they were coming and saying something, I sort of understood what they were trying to say. After some time I realized, they're just making sounds. I'm making up the meanings in my mind. See, if you start speaking Italian, which the professor is trying with me, if you speak total Italian, for me it is just sounds, isn't it?
Wonderful sound, because Italian language is…
Another
problem with our past.
Yeah, okay, I won't argue with that one. So, whatever kind of sounds, then I saw they are making the sounds, I'm the one who's making up meanings in my mind. So then I stopped making meanings. Then I saw hour after hour, teachers come, make sounds, make sounds, make sounds, the next one comes, make sounds, make sounds, make sounds. It became really amusing for me just to listen to these teachers going on making So a big smile spread on my face, but they were not amused. Then my education went on like this, I went there only when it was absolutely necessary. Then about 12, 13 years ago, this school where I studied nearly 45, 46 years ago, they came and invited me to come to their 125th anniversary of the school. The trustees came to invite me. I said, see, please, why me? I was not just a not good student, I was not even a student. I barely came to the school. When I came, I was staring at something else. They said, no, our school has produced sports stars, cricketing stars, our school has produced cinema stars, our school has produced union ministers. You're the only mystic, you must come. I said, okay. Then I went. I stood up in the quadrangle to speak, I just looked around, the same oppressive buildings. Then I looked at this particular classroom and I remembered, I was 12 years of age. On a particular afternoon, the teacher is trying to get a response from me for some question that he's asked. But those days I'm made like this, I don't know anything. Because I don't know anything, what is there to say? So for days on end I wouldn't speak, I'm still trying to drink in life, try to figure out what it is. What is there to say when you don't know anything? So I'm looking at him, paying absolute attention to him. I know that man's past, present and future by just looking at him, but I can't hear what he is saying. 35, 40 minutes he tried. When he couldn't get any response, he came and held me by the shoulder, shook me violently like this and said, you must be either the divine or the devil, I think you're the latter. Till then my problem was, what is this, what is that, what is that, what is that, what is that? One thing was clear, this is me. Suddenly this guy confused me about this also. I looked, what is this? Is this divine, devil, what is it? I thought this is me. Suddenly I got confused about this also. I tried to stare at myself, it didn't work. I started closing my eyes. Initially minutes, hours, it went into days sometimes. As I closed my eyes more and more, I figured out that as you sit here, what you think you are is just a story that you made up. However beautiful you think the story is, it's a made-up story. Hello? Right now, what's happening in your head is your drama, isn't it? Can I tell you a joke? Italians, okay? No, we won't go there, that's serious, huh? On a certain day, a lady went to sleep. In her sleep, she got a dream. In her dream, she saw a hunk of a man standing there and staring at her. He started coming closer, closer, closer. He came so close, she could even feel his breath. And she trembled, not in fear. Then she asked, "What will you do to me?" The man said, "Well, it's your dream, lady." So, what is happening in your head is completely your dream. Right now the problem with people is, they are not even able to manage their dream the way they want, forget about the life. Life situations are different, they'll never happen 100% your way. Hello? This city or any damn city doesn't happen 100% ever your way. But this 1% must happen your way, isn't it? We're talking about being. This 1%, if this person happens your way, you know how to be, isn't it? Right now, this one is not happening your way, that is the only problem. The city is not happening your way, not even your family will happen your way 100%. If 51% happening your way, you got the controlling rights. Hello? 100% your way, nobody happens, not even your dog, these days they do their own thing. Yes or no? Why people are shifting from human beings to dogs is, at least they got 90% control. But nobody has 100% control. Husbands and wives, no control. Dog, at least 70, 80, 90% control depending on the breed that you get.
Thank you. Walt Disney is used to say, if you can dream it, you can do it. So, and is totally connected to make.
No. The dream we believe can become our word,
Yeah,
no?
sure.
So, but if the dream is true if it works with yourself, probably, in trying to…
No, I'm saying, see, whether dream is inspired by situations or consciously created, it'll make a world of difference. Right now, we're talking about social situations as if that is the way to run our life. I'm saying, you know, I'm usually blessing people. Shall I bless you? Yes. My blessing is, may your dreams not come true. Oh, what's happening? No, what I'm telling you is, what do you dream of? You cannot dream of anything that you do not know, isn't it? You only dream of… your dream is just an exaggerated condition of what you already know. My blessing to you is, things that you could not dream of in your life should happen to you, isn't it? Only what you dreamt happened. It's a silly life. Like this guy wants $1 billion, he probably has got a few dollars, now he wants $1 billion. This is a silly dream. And shall I bless you further or no? May your life… may you die as a failure. Why I'm telling you, my life will be a failure. I must tell you this, when I was 25, I realized something profound within myself. Then I realized, if I simply sit here and don't mess with my mind, every cell in my body is blissed out. Then I experimented in so many ways. I clearly found, if I don't touch my mind, I'm blissed out. Everything in the body bursts out. So I thought, on that day, the world's population was 5.6 billion people. Then I sat down and planned that in 2.5 years' time, I will make everybody blissful, the whole population. Because I couldn't imagine who wouldn't want to be blissful. Simply sitting here and blissed out, who doesn't want it? Everybody wants it. But see, 40 years…
Okay.
So…
I think that there are some couple of minutes…
Shall I just finish this, sir? 1 moment, I'm sorry. So I will die as a failure, but as a blissful failure. Population has grown. These days people are telling me we've touched over 2 billion people. But 2 billion people is not my idea of the world. It's 8 billion people now. Okay. By the time something happens, it'll be 9 billion maybe. So I'm saying, you take a small desire, make it happen and say, I did it. It's a foolish way to live for a human being. You must envision something that cannot be completed in one life. even if you took 2 steps in the direction, it's still worthwhile, isn't it? Hello? Is it okay, these 2 blessings? Yes. May your dreams not come true and may you die a failure. May you have a vision that will take 10 lifetimes to fulfill.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. There are some couple of minutes for some questions from the public. Can you take the microphone, please? Qualcuno può prendere un microfono e portarlo al pubblico? Grazie Alessandro. C'è una mano alzata in fondo. E qua il microfono. Vai, là in fondo. Là in fondo.
Thank you, Sadhguru. It's such a privilege to have you here with us.
Hey, why are you so breathless, is it?
It's emotional.
It's not… okay, it's not pandemic, right?
Sadhguru, I work as a primary teacher and with my kids, with 9 and 10 years old kids. I've already started speaking with them about safe soil. I really don't know how direct should I be about the consequences, the negative consequences, because they are full of enthusiasm and full of energy, but still they are little and easily afraid. So I would like
your
you
students,
advice.
they're emotional.
Okay, thank you.
So one thing with children is, this is something that's coming to me wherever I go, Sadhguru, we must get the children fired up. Don't get the children fired up. They are more sensitive to life than you are. Do not put… See, first of all, the soil has become what it's become, not because of some evil design by somebody. This is just human pursuit of well-being and happiness. Every one of us are partners in this destruction, yes or no? Now, the problem is, the moment you talk environment or ecology, always they're talking about whose face shall we punch now? This industry, that industry, no, all of us… See, right now lights are burning. For these lights to happen, something is burning somewhere, isn't it? Inevitably, all of us are using it. Our argument is, oh, she's using more than me, so she must be punched in the face. Leave this nonsense. All of us together have done this. If all of us get together, we can turn this back. So children should never be invested in anger and hatred early on in their life, no matter for what reason. There may be a war in the country, right now it's unfortunately I'm seeing people are infusing this into children's minds. This is not good because once you poison their life with anger and hatred, they will have a lifelong suffering. Below 15 years of age, never put these things into their minds because you would have poisoned their life by doing that. Leaving that aside, they are naturally enthusiastic about everything that is life. You can tell them, see, this is where it is, the soil needs our help. Right now in India, the Isha Home School, our school, the students took it up and now they are getting 10 million children across the country to write to the Prime Minister. If 10 million children write in their own way, their paintings, their drawings, Prime Minister's office is going to have heaps of letters, all right? When he sees this, he may not read every one of them. If he sees 10 of them, you think after that he can not take action? You think it's possible? So, in Italy, whatever number it is, get 1 million letters to your Prime Minister. Believe me, it cannot be ignored. It cannot be ignored. See, the thing is, unfortunately, adults have become like this. If you see this man, oh, what is his religion, what is his race, what is his nationality, what is his nonsense, all these walls have come up between people. They can't look at human beings as human beings. Unfortunately, we have built this kind of situation. But at least when you see a child, you don't think what is his religion, what is his race, something little tender. If you have a heart, something tenderness comes into you. So when children write, it has an impact. But they must do this joyfully, lovingly. They being responsible is good, but they being angry is not good. Not at all good, because I'm seeing a whole lot of people are trying to infuse their anger into their children. This is a very, very bad thing to do because you'll poison their lives. Because a child does not process emotion as you do. You could be angry today, tomorrow you may not be angry. Child is not like that. If you put that poison into them, they will destroy their lives because of these emotions. So ensure it is not about somebody else. All of us together have done this, let's fix it. That should be the attitude for the child. You can definitely inspire your children to write to the leadership, maybe local MP, the Prime Minister, whoever. Please write. And all of you must write. You are also children only, huh? Let's just grow up a little bit. Hello? No? You were born like this, is it? Hello? Were you born like this? No. You were also children only, little late, that's all. Right?
Thank you. No, we have no time, unfortunately. We have a video contribution to go to the end, if you can launch. It's a video about a project that we are trying to carry on in Venice to help or to support the saving of Venice.
How do we do this in Venice?
Yeah. Venice, actually Venice is 1,600 years old. It's not so old in reality, as you told before, because in India…
It's of recent origin.
Yeah, our tagline of this project is to make Venice the oldest city of the future. And I think that, my question, and I would like to have from you like a call to action to Venice, to Venetians, to join your project and to try to combine our vision that I think is totally, I can say, synergic with save the soil and the water under the soil, because we have water in some sense. And so how we can ask to the city, to the Venetian, to our region and to Italy in general, how we can create a call to action to us, how we can contribute to your project.
See, this is the stage of the project, or this is the stage of that movement called Save Soil, where we want to change the narrative on the planet, first of all. Without changing the narrative, there will be no large-scale solutions. Right now, the first immediate reaction of most people is, oh, let me go and fix my garden. Yes, it's very cute of you to do that, but it's not a solution. Because 71% of world's lands are used for agriculture, that's where the real problem is. And that's happened because of a variety of reasons, let's not go into that. But we need a policy change. Why policy change is, let's say you have a piece of agricultural land and I have a piece, both of us are doing fantastic job of keeping our land really well. But the next generation, you don't know what they will do to it. That's what has happened right now from previous generation to this one. Italy was at one time nearly 65%, about a century ago, farmers, and one of the very heavily farmed lands. But today it has happened that only little over 1% is the organic content, which means another 25–30 years you will have no agriculture left if you continue in the same pattern. So if this has to be reversed, we need a policy change where a policy has to come, minimum 3 to 6% organic content should be there. If you want to build in Venice city, I'm sure there are laws how to build. You can't come here and build one 50-floor concrete building. There are laws how to use the urban land, but there are no laws how to use the agricultural land. If you have 100 acres of land, you can plow every inch of it. In the next 10–15 years, you can make a desert out of it. Nobody will ask why you have done, because there's no policy. We need a policy that, first of all, to understand soil is a living system. It is not inert substance. It is very important to understand it's a living system, and it's the largest living system and the most complex living system in the universe. Passing it on in that condition to the next generation is a fundamental responsibility, because this is the foundation of our life. 87% of the life that walks on this planet comes from just 15 to 18 inches of topsoil. 1 inch of topsoil takes over 500 years to create, but in 60 to 70 years, we have destroyed nearly 52% of the topsoil on the planet. So turning it around will only happen if we enshrine it in our policy. To enshrine it in the policy of 192 countries, we have written a policy workbook as to how this could be done for each region, considering your latitudinal position, the soil types which exist in a given country, the economic conditions of that country and the agricultural traditions of that country. We have made country-specific documents which are going to all the 192 nations. I am addressing the COP15 in the month of May in Ivory Coast, where 170 nations are participating. Before that, we want to move at least 3 to 4 billion people. If 3 to 4 billion people on the planet speak up something about soil, no government is going to ignore it. Through the United Nations agencies, the 4 agencies are partners with us, we can definitely make this happen. But right now, what I am requesting from the people is, talk soil for some time, okay? Instead of saying, I love you to your children, you can say, save soil, because it is a more committed way of expressing your love. Love is not about, doing flying kisses to somebody. Love is about doing what's best for their life, isn't it? It's not about saying sweet things, it's about doing what is needed for that life, because that life matters to us. So, if we are concerned about our children, the future generations, it is most important that soil should be in a living condition. But today, we are talking about soil extinction. This is a disaster unfolding. But as I said earlier, still there is room for us to turn it around. I would like to see that we are a responsible generation who turn it around, not a generation which just slept through. Is sleep a crime? Hello? Is sleep a crime? No. But if you sleep through your life will become a disaster. A disaster is generally worse than a crime.
Thank you. Okay, we have a last video contribution, if we can launch it.
Oh.
La 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 la. This very body is soil. My body, your body, everybody is just soil body.
of soil is it turns death into life. Depleted soils will not quench the fire of hunger. Unquenched hunger can burn the very world. This is a generational responsibility. Save soil. Let's make it happen.
Thank you very much for your first time, not last, the first time in Venice. We wait you for the next time as soon as possible. Second time. Okay. Yes. So the third. We wait you for the third. Thank you for everybody for joining, for coming, and grazie.
Sorry, I need to ask you a